Well, let's continue the conversation now. And joining me is the Transport Portfolio Committee Chairperson in Parliament, Donald Selamolela, who is with me in studio tonight. Mr. Selamolela, thank you very much for your time. This is a board that was full of praise for the CEO not too long ago. And I'm saying this, not my words, but I'm quoting the CEO who was with us in studio just last night. Today, he is formally on suspension. What do you make of this decision?
Look, colleague, maybe let me start by greeting you and greeting the viewers and take this platform also to extend on behalf of this portfolio our message of condolence to the former member of this portfolio in the previous term, Ubaba Stole of the IFP, who is late, and also to send condolence to him, to the party and the family, but also to the former MEC of Transport, Dean Farisani in Limpopo, who also passed on. And to their families, we extend our sincere words of condolence on behalf of the portfolio and showed on behalf of the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. Only the developments of the past week have been not shocking only to yourself, but also to ourselves as portfolio committee. And you would have heard in the morning that the members were even more confused when the board appeared in the morning. Because what would have happened is that last week when the news broke, before they appeared on Scopa, the indication was that they've put their CEO on special leave for matters relating to his non-appearance or refusal thereof to appear before. And we really wanted a brief, and we requested an urgent meeting, and we had to really juxtapose with our program to allow a space for them in the morning. We had to start the portfolio very early at 8 today, just so that we get a sense, so that if you are to call us, we are able to know what is really happening, because we're really in the blank. What was happening was that we viewed yesterday your interview with the CEO, and we got the side of the story from him, but we did not really have the side of the story fully from the board, and we needed that. But unfortunately, when we're interacting in the morning with the understanding that we're going to get a brief in relation to the leave, the special leave, then they said, no, we've moved now, the clip that we have obviously played now, that we've moved from the special leave to actual suspension on matters relating to insubordination. And I think you would have heard the members were very relieved with that, because one, the members were worried that the process in itself by their own concession was illegal. Why did they in the first place conduct an illegal process? But they justified that they were trying to regularize. Yeah. But we strongly believe that there is more into this particular matter. Hence, we resolved this portfolio this morning that we may have to have a full board come in to sit physically with us and explain. And if possible, we may also have to invite Letsoalo himself to come and explain. What you correctly said is that some time ago, they were praising him. We met with them, and we asked hard questions about certain things that we had were happening. Yeah. But they were strong that, no, the board is doing well, the executive management is doing well. As to what would have happened in terms of the sudden change, the Damascus moment, we may not know. Yeah. Is their internal governance administrative interface, but we really have to enter the space in the interest of the people of South Africa.
All right, and we were just going to try and fix your microphone because there does seem to be some interference. So while the team does that, let me pose the question to you in this fashion. There was talk of a 79 million rand lease deal. He dismisses that. This is Collins Letsoalo. Dismisses that and says there's actually nothing untoward here. His decision to rent space from a government property cannot possibly be a problem with a government that has been crying that it is bleeding money. And so one state entity renting the space from another state entity can't possibly be a problem. And then he says that actually what appears to be a problem here is possibly the renewal of his contract. Do you believe that this has to do with him coming back, or at least trying to get his contract renewed which he says he absolutely deserves, by the way?
Look, like I said, the situation is confusing. And what is confusing, Cole, is that there is their story, there is his story. These are the people who, when we met on our interaction for the first time, were one and united. Even when we were asking hard questions, for instance, relating to their matters, their interface with the AG, their matters with Scopa, they were one and solid behind their own CEO. We don't know at this point what would have happened that would have brought the camels back. But what we can assure you is that we are going to get to the depth of the matter. How are we going to get to the depth of the matter? We want all the information, and we have requested them. We will be writing to them tomorrow morning. We have written already. We'll be sending to them in the morning the set of questions that they actually have to answer, including understanding on this particular matter, because remember, the interface is, the board is the one that appoints, of course, recommending to cabinet through the ministry their own channel. It has nothing to do with us as a portfolio.
Can I stop you for a moment?
To the extent...
Allow me to interrupt.
Yes.
Because you are a portfolio committee of Parliament.
Yes.
Then there is Scopa.
Yes.
That's another entity of Parliament. Scopa has been very clear about the problems in the RAF, that its books have been found wanting for some time, including what they are clear about now, and that is that there is even almost a defiance of sorts of the entity, the Chapter 9 institution that looks at the books of public entities. And that is that RAF has not been compliant even with that particular Chapter 9 institution. Why can't you go to Scopa and say, what are the issues here? Let's have it as the Transport Portfolio Committee to understand the issues ourselves.
There are two things we're going to do, and that we've been doing. First, we've been clear. Any attempt by any department to refuse to appear before any committee of Parliament, including Scopa. The reporting line in Parliament is that the solid line of reporting is between the department, its entities with our portfolio, but they also on financial issues and on matters of public accounts, they also appoint account to Scopa and of course to other portfolios. And we have made it clear to the ministry, and we are happy that in this one the ministry is clear that we will not take light any entity that's supposed to report solidly under us that defies Parliament in terms of accounting. So that we've been able to clear, and we'll be having a joint engagement with Scopa on that. But even before we have a joint engagement with Scopa, we want from our point to have Letsoalo here, to have the board here, and of course the ministry here, to come and take us through all these questions that we've been asking them, that the board has been saying things are going well, including disbursement in terms of our claims, and all these other things, including, by the way, the very issue of their bad relation or bad blood relation with Auditor General South Africa. Yeah. Because we strongly believe that it's a matter that they would have handled differently. But at the time we engaged with them, they said the matter is sub judice, is before the courts. We implored on the ministry to ensure that they work closer with the board and closer with the executive management of the entity to resolve the matter.
All right. We're out of time. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do you believe that the RAF board is a fit and proper board, given what they've done? They place him on special leave, but they quickly correct themselves to say, this is actually not legally sound, and now we're going to place him on suspension. Do you believe that these are people who know what they're doing?
Look, it may be premature in my part to make the determination, but I can tell you, there is a lot that needs attention, and there is lots that is so suspect in terms of their conduct, especially over the past 7 days or so, from the 27th until today. There is so much that even requires us to zoom more into their conduct. Hence, we had other members already saying, no, we feel that the board is not fit. But I don't think it is correct at this point for me to arrive at that determination. It will be reckless of me, like they would have been reckless in their part, to prejudge before following a proper process.
Donald Selamolela, thank you very much for making time for us. I'm going to ask you to just stay where you are, but we appreciate your time coming into studio.
Thanks a lot, Toli. Thanks a lot, and
All
thanks to the
right.
viewers.
Donald Selamolela is the Portfolio Committee Chairperson of Transport in Parliament.